first and foremost, tell me more about you. What should we know about you? How did you get here? Maybe a little bit, at the gist, a little bit of how you grew up. Like, what should we know about you?
I grew up in England, in the middle of nowhere, is how I like to describe it, which I really enjoyed. I have a twin sister, and yeah, it really. I think feel more fortunate now. I live in a city that I kind of was surrounded by nature, but there were the elements of you have to drive literally everywhere. But yeah, as I grew up, probably the things that I was really passionate about was rugby. That was actually quite interesting. Might talk about that more. For a while wanted to be a professional rugby player, but things like injury got in the way. But I think massively kind of mindset as well. And then my other kind of thing I was really interested in is history. Yeah, so I went on to study that at university. Really loved that. I think, and what I found really interesting is actually the range of experiences. So I did some papers that were linked to anthropology and just generally about kind of individual human experience. Yeah, from there, I had no idea what I really wanted to do. I think one of the strands what I did kind of outside of study was welfare stuff. I had an internship at a really cool charity, and then kind of fell into what I do now a little bit, but I'm still here. So as a student, worked in residential kind of summer camps, and the founder was setting up a charity doing similar for young people in the UK, to basically overcome kind of barriers of access to university, but also young people having them get the grades that they need to fulfill whatever they want, and also the support and again the confidence to kind of pursue what they want. And so it combines residentials and coaching.
Really cool. What do you think your influence was? Probably that predates sort of all of these like different endeavors, but maybe in your childhood, influential people in your life that you've grown up with.
What instantly comes to mind is like my parents, undoubtedly. They worked incredibly hard to provide myself and my sister with opportunities that they never had, and still now, whenever you talk to them, you just know that they want the best for you, and that support I think has been invaluable. And then bizarrely, other influences. Was a really supportive rugby coach. It's probably the one that was like, you could be really good. But again, when we talk later, there's this disconnect where I felt like without that someone else saying you could be good, it felt hard to consider maybe I should explore this. When I was applying to university, I remember doing a mock interview and a teacher going, I heard that another teacher who did your interview, your mock interview, said you're really, really good. And that was that moment of, maybe I could do this. So that's quite interesting. But I think that rugby coach was mine. And then, I think my parents are probably the bigger factor there. The biggest factor.
Really cool. Awesome. In which case, tell me more about what confidence means to you then.
Confidence in its simplest form is a belief in ourselves to face kind of the unknown or whatever might come next. And then it can be applied in different scenarios, like confidence to pursue what we really want, whether they're like our aspirations, to put ourselves at risk of failure for the thing that matters to us.
Yeah. Tell me more about, do you feel like you've grown up as a confident person?
I think the quick answer is no. Obviously, this comes with hindsight. First of all, to jump into what you said earlier, I think there's a really interesting thing actually about we can take confidence in as that bridging that like intellectual gap of like we can take confidence in the things that we can do and think about, if I'm not confident in this sphere, how am I showing up where I am confident, or actually where I wouldn't even describe myself as confident because it's second nature. How do you hold yourself? And that's quite interesting. But going back to your question, I don't think so. If I think about how I approach things, for example, school exams, it was through a fear of failure, which suggests to me like an absence of confidence in terms of confidence to respond to like the potential of failure. So I was trying to avoid or control it. I think also absence of confidence to really. So that rugby example is a good one in that I kind of turned up to some. There's a consciousness and a confidence aspect here in that kind of when I was injured, not thinking about, what can I really do to put myself in the best position when I come back, or to be able to come back. But also, in scenarios, kind of how can I put myself forward to kind of be the best in this situation, rather than just kind of like, I'll just do this. So there was it was kind of like, I suppose it's a level of confidence. Like I was confident enough to give it a go. Might be really nervous at like a rugby trial, but actually, if I'd been more confident, thinking retrospectively, I could have kind of really tried to stand out more, if that makes sense, because it was something I wanted.
Yeah, definitely. Would you consider yourself a confident person now? And if so, or even if it's sort of medium to high, at what point do you feel you've sort of had that perhaps one or more personal breakthroughs to get you there?
I'd say it depends. There are some things that I feel more confident in, and also day to day they might change as well. One that's came to mind recently is I've been doing lots of like presentations on Zoom, and I had to do one in person. It was as if it was something I'd never done before, even though I'd been doing it years before. So it comes and goes in some ways, or it's remembering kind of our like ability to do something, or reminding ourselves we can do it. Yeah, I'd say in some areas I feel confident, and in others less so. Like confident to probably perform. Where I feel less confident is like the confidence to try those new things. And I think that's a natural thing of, we all like our comfort zone. So you kind of, and I probably feel more confident in the things I know I know vaguely what the outcome is, or I feel like I can really control a lot of the parameters that will get me to there.
Yeah, definitely. From a feelings perspective, how do you relate to confidence now than maybe 12 or more months ago? So what does it allow you to do, in your opinion, now than maybe how you thought it would influence your life 12 months ago?
How I've seen confidence then is like a performative thing. It helps me perform better.
Yeah.
Whereas now I have the sense that it's more a feeling, or kind of a belief in me. So creating confidence isn't an outcome. It's kind of like a thing that helps me get to where I want to be, which is like being more myself in the world.
Really, really cool. And so I have two main other questions. One is, you will work generally a lot with young people that might really be sort of quite early in their journey of confidence building. What is your advice to them, or what would be your advice off the cuff now to somebody who is really, quote unquote, only just starting out? How should they go about starting to build their confidence?
Just to appreciate the steps you are taking. So starting out in itself is a massive thing. So recognize that. Recognize that this is something that everyone has challenges with in terms of confidence. One of the most, not reassuring, but kind of grounding things is when I was talking to who I considered a really successful, well-established CEO, who basically went, I'm rubbish at this stuff. I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's just that idea that we're all kind of finding our way. Confidence can be a challenge for all of us. And actually how we perceive others to be isn't necessarily how they're feeling.
And the last thing I just had was very similar to what I've just asked, but what are really powerful questions that you feel really evoke thought much quicker and much more powerfully in people, that, people can start asking themselves and use as a guide to really start shaping their path?
I think two that often I find quite powerful. One of them, thinking about yourself 60, 70 years in the future, looking back on life, and what are the things that you want to look back on, and the feelings you want to have looking back on that life.
Yeah.
And then what does that mean about how you approach today? And another one is, if whatever you're doing now, whether it's your job, your school, kind of all of that just disappeared.
Yeah.
And you woke up with all your experiences and memories, everything you've previously done, what would you choose to do from that day forward?
I like that. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much.